Welcome. You're watching Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life, with your host, Danny Pabone and Rifle Scudder.
Freedom now, huge numbers on the right hand side. Tagburn, Osborne, Addy.
Welcome to Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life. As always, I'm joined here with my friend Rifle. Rifle, how are you doing, sir?
Doing very well, thank you, Danny. How about yourself there in New Jersey?
Doing good, doing good. Getting over this almost 2 feet of snow. Lots of fun, hours of shuffling. But the good thing is the weather is warming up. A lot of the snow is melting. So hopefully I'll see my lawn and the street soon.
Good for you. So that's snow shoveling, some good cardio exercise for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Look at the positive. I got some good exercise over the past few days.
There you go.
Also exciting is, again, Six Nations series going on over the past 3 weeks. And in this episode, we're going to be covering rounds 2 and 3. But before we get into the specific rounds and the scores and the different matches, I must say, Rifle, that I fell into the trap. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were looking forward to that France and England game, thinking that England was going to give France a run for their money. I fell into the trap. Oh, England did so good against Wales. Although I did say that you can't really feed too much into that. But I still thought that England was going to give France a run for their money. And what a turn 2 weeks can make. What
Oh, yeah,
happened to England?
I think England also, I mean, they were going for the Grand Slam, when they beat New Zealand last year at the end of the year, in the autumn series. They were looking good. They came off 13 wins in a row. Their projection was really, really good. People were starting to talk about them because, as you can remember, the previous year they would be leading up until halftime of 50, 60 minutes into the game, and then the last 20 they would just completely drop out of the game. But they fixed that issue and they started winning games, and 13 on the trot. So people were very excited to see England. No more excited was anyone in the world than the English fans, obviously. So they were now ready for the Grand Slam and all of that. And then 2 weeks that they had, and oh my goodness, yeah. Now the talk of the town is their coach, Steve Bortwick, safe.
Yeah.
Previously it was Scotland, and you got the Townsend, is he safe? Now you got Bortwick, can he keep his job? So yeah, definitely 2 weeks, big difference, especially if you lose 2 games like that. So hard lines for England.
Yes, and you bring up the Gregor Townsend, the coach of Scotland. I want to apologize to him because at the beginning, after that first game, I was like, oh man, he's not going to last. But, Scotland got 2 big wins, one being against England. And let's just get right to it. This is round 2 and round 3. Yeah, just round 3 occurring this past weekend. And with round 2, we have first match, Ireland, Italy. Wow, what a game that was. Italy showing that they can hang with the best of them, and coming out a little short, and Italy beating Scotland in round 1 again in that game that was raining, torrential rainfall. Italy was able to come out with a win. And now in round 2, hard-fought game, they fell a little short, but Ireland was able to come out with the win at home.
Italy against Ireland leading, for
Yeah.
a lot of the game. So they were really playing well, and Ireland on that day. And that's what we said last year at the end of the year. Ireland's trajectory was not that great. They would probably have a feeling of not being too positive about their year last year and the way they ended it. So to go into this competition wanting to do well, and then, oh my goodness, you battle like that against Italy. That was not good. They fixed it this past weekend, but they were on thin ice there for a while, and actually coming from behind to win the game. So once again, we say you've got to play till the whistle finishes at the end. It's not finished at halftime when you're behind. But still, they were behind against Italy. So Italy definitely, we can see on any day they can beat any one of these nations in the Six Nations. So definitely a great team. Italy, becoming stronger. And if you look at their scrum, my goodness, they just anyone they scrummed. I mean, their scrum was taking people apart. They're getting scrum penalties, so very, very good what their coach has done there, and they're becoming better and better every tournament. So Italy definitely an exciting team to watch.
Yes, yes. And another, in retrospect, another dumb statement that I made at the beginning is Wales, when they play Italy, Italy is gonna be uh the only team that they could potentially beat. Man, that was a dumb
Yeah,
that was a
we were
dumb
talking about Townsend this past weekend. Townsend was very, very close to losing his job on the weekend if they couldn't pull it through
yeah.
against Wales, because Wales, I'm telling you, they led for most of the game, and just one blunder, one absolute rugby 101 basic mistake that they threw the game away, but they came back with a vengeance. They played well, and they were almost going to walk out of
Mm,
that stadium as victors against Scotland. So well done, Wales. That was great.
yes, yes. That was a close game that we're gonna get to, scare for Scotland. But the second match of round two, the Calcutta Cup, um, uh, a match. I believe this is the most played between two nations, most matches played between two nations, which is Scotland and England. This is like, if you're new to rugby in baseball terms, this is like the Yankees playing the Red Sox. No love lost between the two teams, and this is a big game during the schedule. Um, what can I say? I believe it was 17 nothing in the first quarter of the game, if I'm not mistaken, or the first 25 minutes of the game. It was 17 nothing. Scotland was just running all over England. So the score seems a little closer than what the game, when if you actually experienced the game, you were like, wow, the score seems a little closer than what the game actually was, because Scotland really dominated in this game. And Scotland at home against England. I believe this is the fifth straight win at home against England. So England, as of late, has not have success in Scotland as late. So yeah, this was. I know to you it was a beautiful thing to watch.
I think maybe every year before the Six Nations, all the coach has to do is show the Scottish team Braveheart.
Yeah.
And they watch that movie, Freedom for Scotland.
Come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
And then to play at Murrayfield with the bagpipes and the singers, I mean, it's just, and you can speak to all of those players. And last week, Big Jim, who does wonderful podcasts, he actually spoke to the South African wing, Kyle Steyn, who plays for Scotland,
Mm,
and asking him at one stage, what does it feel like standing in Murrayfield on the field with that Scottish jersey and singing Flower of Scotland, and he was just talking about the emotions and all that brings up. So Scotland at home, good, but Scotland against England at home, very, very difficult game. Doesn't matter
yes.
how good England are, the Scottish come with everything that they have. So they definitely came out, and maybe did England maybe think they could, maybe just walk over them because of the previous week.
Mm,
Did England think they were really, really good? One doesn't know. But one thing is for sure, Scotland showed up and England didn't. And at the end of the game, Scotland wanted it more than England. They gave their all, where you could see England maybe had a little bit left in the tank to give, but Scotland left it all on the field and made sure that they went out with everything they had during that game. So, yes, lovely game.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Just watching this game, the speed and the tempo that Scotland came, started the game with, I was like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. And just knowing that England hasn't had much success in playing Scotland in what is it, Murrayfield,
Mm.
as of late. But I didn't expect this. I mean, Scotland was just running up and down the field. I was like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, can they
Yeah,
keep up this pace?
yeah, they came out with everything they had. It was great.
Yes, yes,
And
it
just
was
shows
great.
you how they can play on the day,
Yeah,
what they are
it,
capable of. If they, collectively come together, put their minds to it and play the way they did. I mean, they top class team, most definitely. It can take anyone in the world.
yes, definitely can. And then we have France and Wales. Um, Not much here to say, as everyone can see the score here, 54-12. Um, I hate to be a broken record. Um, you know, France is France. I mean, I mean, really, there's not much to say about this game, and who now the question is who can really beat France. We have two more rounds in this competition, and I really, maybe England fixes their whatever they need to fix and gives France on that last game, you know, something, give them some type of resistance. But yeah, France is just wow, so
Yeah.
good.
Even so, if England does do great on the last weekend and they come and they thrash France,
Mm,
because of the point system that they have, it's going to be very difficult at
yeah.
this stage, for France to be knocked off. So, in my humble opinion, if France does not win this year's Six Nations, they threw it away. It was theirs to give
Hmm.
away because they 3 for 3. And I mean, look at the scores they're putting on here. It is Wales, but I mean, that first game when they played England, they were just, that, oh, man, they were good. Ireland, I mean, sorry, where they
Yeah.
played Ireland 2 weeks ago. So France definitely on fire. They're a great team. So I would be surprised if they don't. Ireland still got a backdoor chance to come back and win it. But if France do not win this year's Six Nations again, I would be surprised.
Yeah. I would be surprised as well if they don't. Um, they're the defending champions of Six Nations, so I don't see them not repeating the being the champions of Six Nations this year.
Yeah,
So yeah,
especially with the points they have up to this stage with all of their bonus
yeah,
tries that they've reached in the game. So it's going to be difficult to surpass them.
yes, it definitely will. I mean, well, I don't have the brain to do the math right now, but it's virtually, like you said, virtually impossible for anybody other than France to win this year's Six Nations. But you
Well,
never know. We shall see. I mean, it is possible, but let me put it this way: if France continues to play the way they have been playing, it's
mm,
it's pretty hard for any team to overtake France and win the Six Nations. So I'll just put it
correct.
that way.
That's what we've said on this show before is you want everything to be in your control.
Mm,
You don't want to have another team to win by so many points and then another team must lose by so many points for you to go through. France says, no, we'll do it. We'll take control of our game. We'll win everything. And then it doesn't matter what other teams do. we are in control of our own destiny, and it's just you got to win, and that's what they're doing. So, but as you said, on the positive side, Wales at least got 12 points. Their games where they didn't even get a score, let alone double figures. So 12 points
Yeah.
for Wales. And then, as I say, what can we say about round three? Man, those Welsh boys came back and they just gave it all. And what a game they put up for us last week.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What a game that was. And then we have the England Ireland game. Um, Again, I believe England was actually favored in this game, if I'm not mistaken. Um, don't know why after the performances against Scotland, but apparently they were favored against Ireland. And as everybody sees here, what a rout it was at halftime. It was 20 to 7, Ireland up. And then second half, you had some moments of England playing, pretty good rugby. However, when you get down, so much in the first half, you have to try really hard in the second half in order to overcome the deficit. And not only do you have to overcome the deficit, you also have to prevent the other team from scoring.
Mm.
So, it's a double whammy of you trying to overcome a deficit, a decent sized deficit, on top of preventing the other team from scoring. So it was a surmountable task in the second half for England to come back and beat Ireland. But and this is in our next episode, everyone. We're actually going to be focusing on this game. But I just laugh because at one point during the game, the commentators were very well. At multiple points during the game, the commentators were very did not beat around the bush about how England was playing. And I remember just watching the game, and at one point, the commentator, and I'm quoting here, I'm not paraphrasing, I'm quoting here, he said, England's defense today is horrific. That's a quote. I'm not paraphrasing. So when I heard the commentator say that during the live broadcast, I just started laughing. I was like, you got to agree with him. England's defense was just, I mean, terrible. Terrible, terrible.
Yeah, they did it. It wasn't just the defense. There were so many things that went bad for them. Just, the previous week we looked at Scotland and things that they did wrong. And game one, I mean, and here it's just England. That was their turn to absolutely basics, just mess it up. But if you don't tackle, if your defense is not good, you can't win in rugby because all of these teams are at such a level that you can't just win by your attacking game. You have to defend well as well. And their defense was not good enough. And if you can't make your first time tackles, and maybe you miss one or two, but if you just constantly they break the first time tackle and they get past the advantage line, oh my goodness, it's not going to work out well for you. And this past week on the podcast, even Eddie Jones, they were asking him, our dear friend Eddie, and he was just saying they didn't show up to tackle. They just didn't. So exactly, he was saying, I don't know if he listened to the commentary that was on the game, he must have, but he was also just saying the defensive tackling of England was atrocious.
Yeah, yes, it was. And again, one of the topics we'll be covering in our next episode, focusing on this specific game, round three, England versus Ireland. We've spoken already about that Wales Scotland game. You know, we're gonna again in our next episode we're gonna specifically talk about one play, and that one play you can see it. That one play was the momentum shift towards Scotland, and yeah, we're gonna cover that in the next game. And I'm sorry, in our next episode. But again, that Wales Scotland game, it was Wales to win. Unfortunately, in the second half, Scotland started, you know, playing as a team, started playing well because in the first half they did not play well at all. Part of it, Scotland wasn't playing well. The other part of it was Wales was playing very well. So we got to give some credit to Wales because they did great in the first half. And then we have that third game again. I hate to be a broken record. What else is there to say in this game? France just dominated Italy. Uh, the only reason Italy scored a try was because of an error from the French team. The ball was going into touch. For whatever reason, French player threw the ball back into the field of play. Uh, Another French player mishandled the ball, and Angel Capuoso was the lucky recipient of that fumble of the ball and scored easily. The only reason Italians scored that game was due to an error, a bad error near the try line of the French.
Yeah, France on the day, obviously the better team, but playing more basic rugby, the French flair, as you say, that typical taking the ball, throwing it, from one place to another where other teams won't dare do that. The French are good with that. That's what they're known for. But unfortunately, was it Ramos
I
who,
believe, yes, I believe it was Ramos. Yes, that.
threw it in and so on, and other teams won't try that, but just that. But on the day, it wasn't a spectacular rugby game. It was just more basics, nothing
Mhm.
to write home about, as we would say, but just the power of the French. If they just play their basic, bread and butter. I mean, their forwards are big and they're strong and they're fast, and then their backs have just so much flair. And if they just keep on doing what they do so well, just the ABCs of rugby, I mean, they are a formidable power in world rugby. So that's the team that scares me as a Springbok the
Mhm.
most at this stage, definitely is France. Young players, strong players, big guys. So, France is definitely for me the team to watch out for. And then, as we've spoken before, especially if you play in France, that stadium of theirs, it's all out war. I mean, it's something else when you play there. So, but French just at the stadium looking too strong in my point of view for anyone to catch them.
Yes, yes, and that just their style, I should say, of play is very aggressive. You know, if, watching France, if you turn away from the screen for a few seconds, you'll probably miss a try or a push. Next thing, they're at the 22 meter line of the opponent's zone, and you're like, what in the world just happened? They were just they were just in their own zone just 5 seconds ago. So they're a fun team to watch, and like you say, I'm sure you get nervous. You're gonna get nervous when the time comes where the Springboks have to place France. It's gonna be a tough game.
Well, I get nervous. It doesn't matter who the Springboks play. Anything on the day can happen. I mean, with any
Yes.
team now of these top tier nations that we've said before, it doesn't matter who you play. If you just
Hmm.
for one moment think, "Oh, we got this," no, you don't, because any one of these teams, are good enough to take anyone on the day. But just on paper and the way that we know they can play, and if you look at the speed that they have and the agility, France is just in another level, man. They're phenomenal.
Hmm.
So they're really a scary sight to face.
Yeah. Yes, they are. They're a fun team to watch, and the excitement factor is very high when you when you watch a team like France. And just to end this episode, I just wanted to go over where everything stands after 3 rounds. As we say, France obviously is at number one, Scotland number two, Ireland number three. We have England four, Italy five, Wales at six. So yeah, that's where we currently stand. Again, if France win out Grand Slam, obviously they're going to be the winners of the Six Nations. It'll be interesting to see if maybe, Scotland wins the next game and they have a great performance. And then again, as always, like you said at before the Six Nations started, you say that's is known as Super Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, and that's where all six teams play the same day, and that's the final round of the Six Nations. So if Scotland is able to pull out a win in the next game and look really good, then then again that France England game is going to be very interesting, because then you'll be in the situation where you know is Scotland gonna somehow pull out a Six Nations championship? So we shall see. We shall see what
Yeah,
round four brings us.
going to be very exciting. Yeah.
Yes, very exciting to see. So with that, everyone, that is three rounds of the 2026 Six Nations completed so far. France looking dominant. The majority of people that follow rugby have had, prior to the Six Nations beginning, starting, I should say, had France winning repeat champions in 2026. And everybody that chose France as winners of the 2026 Six Nations so far are looking correct. I don't see anybody beating France, and France is gonna have a grand slam. Last year they won 4 out of 5 games. Last year I believe they lost their first game, but this year I'm seeing a grand slam for France and it's another Six Nations championship.
I agree.
And so we shall see. We shall see. Come on, Scotland, win good next week so that last week could be interesting. So with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Rifle, thank you again, sir. Great
You're
Six
welcome.
Nations, and I'm looking forward to the last 2 rounds. The teams are having a well-deserved break this coming weekend. I'm sure they're gonna rest up their bodies. It's a wonderful sport. Rugby is, but it's a tough sport. So I'm sure the players are gonna appreciate this little rest that they're gonna have this coming up weekend.
Yes, they will.
So with that, everyone, again, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and until next time, take care, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode of Rugby with Rifle. Remember to press the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, to support this podcast.